Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. I'm Aristiana Priatining Rahayu, lecturer in the Early Childhood Education Study Program, Faculty of Teaching and Educational Science, Muhammadiyah University, Surabaya. This time, I will present the result of research entitled Analysis of Children Who Are Addicted to Gadgets on Social Emotional Aspect. Introduction. Today's children or who are more family term kids as known by the community have different characteristics compared to children in ancient times. Children were happy all the times. Once they went out to play with their friends by playing various traditional games. But now, currently, children tend to stay at home engrossed in their gadgets. All family members, parents are also engrossed in their respective gadget. Excessive use of gadget disrupt communication in the gadget family because family members do not communicate with each other. The house feels quiet because of the lack of interaction between families. Exercise use of gadget can have an impact on mental health among family members. The result of research conducted by Maulida regarding the use of gadget in children show that excessive use of gadget can result in social inequality in society. Asif F. Ramadi, 2017, page 115. According to observation made in several families in Yogyakarta, it shows that since children use gadgets, children become difficult to communicate with and respond less when parents talk to them. One of the choices that is popular with children on gadgets in YouTube show. The content on YouTube of various type, songs, games, stories, etc. are able to attract children's interest to continue watching and replace the role of television at home. Children are curious and explore what is on YouTube. Parents who sometimes voluntarily give smartphone to their son and daughter when they are busy. Many parents are not aware that what they are doing can be addictive for their children. This is also dangerous if parents also do not supervise regarding YouTube content that children see. Based on this problem, the author provides description of several studies according to the topics. Through this research, it is hoped that there will be awareness of parents or prospective teachers about the dangers of excessive and undersupervised use of gadgets in the children. Specifically, the purpose of the research is to analyze the development of the social emotional aspect in early childhood gadget addicts. Methodology. The type of research used in the research qualitative research, according to Strauss and Coburn. Qualitative research is research that produces findings that cannot be obtained using statistical procedures or quantitative steps. The qualitative research uses a library research design. Library research design, according to Mustika Z, is research that comes face to face with data and numbers and does not go into field or through eyewitnesses. Library data is a secondary source, namely from second-hand, or it's not original from first-hand, so it can contain bias. Library data research is limited by space and time recorded in the written record. Example text, number, image, tapes, recording, or films. The subject of this research are several studies that have been carried out previously, which are related to the author research. namely research examining aspects of social emotional development in young children who are addicted to YouTube. The aspects that will be researched include definition, concept, views, thoughts, argument contained in the literature that are relevant to the discussion. Data source or research objects are types of data in research in the form of textual or concept data. In conducting research, researchers use a library research. According to Sarwono in Sumarna 2014, 95, explain the library source that can be used by researchers, including abstract of research results, index, reviews, journal, reference book. The data is divided into primary data and secondary data. Primary data source during the research process, researchers use a primary source, as explained by Ibnu et al. That's primary data source are direct exposure of an event by someone who really pays attention or witnesses the event. Examples of primary data are diaries, thesis, a dissertation, research reports, and interview results. Meanwhile, according to Hort and Sharp, examples of primary sources are articles, journals, reports, government publication. In this literature research, the author used primary data from 10 journal articles in the form of research results related to use of YouTube in children. Researchers also use a secondary data source according to Ibnu et al. Secondary data sources are publications written by authors that are not direct observation of the event described. Examples of secondary data according to Ibnu et al. Are encyclopedias, textbooks, dictionaries, and handbooks. Meanwhile, according to Hort and Sharp, examples of secondary data sources are textbook, reviews of journal, and publication index. That secondary data that researchers used were for textbook about the use of digital media in children. Data validity. There are several types of data validity checking techniques explained by Iqbar Junakarta, Liansah, and Vidya. Data validity techniques include extended participation, observer reliance, triangulation, peer checking, reference adequacy, negative spatial studies, member checking, detailed description, and auditing. Researchers use reference adequacy as a technique for checking data validity. According to Iqbar Junakarsa, Liansa and Vidya, 2018, page 10, explain that the use of reference adequacy as a step to check the validity of data is carried out by bringing together various sources that can help research, namely in the form of human source and reference material that are appropriate to the research. Data analysis techniques are methods used to describe the data used in the research so as to obtain a clarification. The data analysis technique used in the research uses literature review data analysis techniques, which consists of various methods including Sherekar and Harahap, 2019. It's compare, namely exploring similarities from various literature, and then conclusion can be drawn. And number two, contrast, namely exploring difference from various literature, and the conclusion can be drawn. Number three, critics, namely a researcher makes an opinion related to the literature read. Number four, synthesis, namely creating new ideas by combining various research sources. Number five, summaries, namely writing back the research source using the researcher language skills. There's many journals that analysis of researcher and 10 journals six national, and four international. This is the result of research from several journals which were used as data source in this research. The first are interpersonal, the influence of YouTube or smartphone on children's interpersonal communication development. Recent research, daily access to YouTube can influence the development of children's interpersonal communication skill, which include an attitude of openness, empathy, support for each other, positive attitude, and equality. The second journal, reducing YouTube addiction through a cognitive behavior therapy approach with self-control in adolescents in the Dukuhan village of Japon, Sidoarjo. The counseling process in reducing YouTube addiction through a cognitive behavioral approach with self-control technique has shown success. This can be seen from the interviews change in the behavior. Resource person can now control between learning activities and watching YouTube. The third journal, the relationship between YouTube watching intensity and the social emotional development of children aged 5 until 6 years. The research results, the more often the intensity of watching YouTube, the lower of the child level of social emotional development. And conversely, the least frequently you watch YouTube, the higher your child's social emotional development will be. The fourth of journal, the impact of gadget use on early childhood social development in the Setiabudi Hamlet Seputih Banyak district. The research result, the form of gadget used vary greatly. The use of gadget in a day is approximately 1 hour, used for playing games, watching cartoon videos, and watching YouTube. In the research, they explained that the smartphones are not the only thing that influence social emotional development. Another gadget is television. The fifth journals, relationship between gadget use habits and mental emotional status in preschool children. The research using gadgets that comply with AAP, American Academy Pediatrics, recommendation can improve the development of children's cognition, language, and social skills. Sixth journal, early childhood online addiction. The result, there's learning process in changing bad habits by creating new habit by seeing the child potential so that the child is not addicted to gadgets. The seven journals, this international journal, influence of gadget use on children's social emotional development. Result, children will not be addicted to gadgets if parents participated in helping the child growth and development. Parents play an active role in supervising and controlling their children's use of gadgets so that their child growth and development is not hampered by excessive use of gadgets. 8 journals, perception of preschool, 3 until 7 years, use of YouTube in Semarang. The research result, of the total 30 children who own smartphone, 96.7% of children are happy to be able to use their smartphone to access their favorite videos. Based on the result, it can be concluded that children with a higher age range can explain visually about gadget and can explain the component in the picture that can children with a low age range. The nine journals, the effect of the use of gadget on psychosocial, social emotional, self-reliance, responsibility, and student learning result in elementary school. The result, gadget usage can be a positive or negative depending on how it is used. Gadgets can be positive if they are used for useful things that can create that creativity, cognition, and language in children. However, gadgets can be negative if users only use them for unnecessary things such as playing games and entertainment. Uh, 10. Journal, the title Behavior in Early Childhood, 2 until 3 years. A case study on the use of gadget in social environments. There was also children use gadget because children see adults also using gadget. Children imitate things they see on their gadget. In terms of growth and fine motor skill and social development, there are delays because children only focus on gadget rather than the surrounding environment. Excessive use of gadget causes emotional instability such as emotional happiness, anger, and temper tantrums. Excessive use of YouTube by children will have negative impact on children's development. Children's tendency to watch YouTube for a long time will make them addicted and dependent on the application and neglecting other activities. Another negative side is that children will also be lazy about interacting with the people around them. It's from Jana, Fadli, and Christiana, 2019, page 111. Intensity is the length of time spent on something such as washing. According to Sari in Ariatama in Jana, Fadli and Christiana, 2019, 111, determining a person's intensity of accessing media can be determined by looking at media use, frequency of media use, and the time a person spends interacting with the media. Chaplin in Junior argues that intensity, the strength that support on an opinion or attitude in Jana, Fadli, and Christiana, 20 and 19. Conclusion and recommendation. YouTube addiction is a problem that needs to be overcome. One of the problems that arise in the hampering of children's social emotional development. Children who have antisocial behavior are more susceptible to impulsive, selfish behavior, tantrum, and experience obstacles in the social interaction. So it's important for parents to limit viewing hours and select the show children watch. Apart from that, it is important for parents to create a variety activities together in family so that children not only focus on their gadget. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.